were ready to go. They had a Smackdown event on November the 15th in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, the home of the Crusher, the city that the Crusher built. And they had a lot of people there, but I don't know how many they had. They didn't brag it was sold out or anything, but it looked like a good crowd. And they had some good speeches. I thought some interesting scenes on this week's program. Possibly they'll do an actor's studio special on the making of this film. Oh, and they had some wrestling matches in the middle. Did you see any of the wrestling matches, or were you just there for the dramatic rendering?
Maybe as you mention them, I'll remember, but the only things I remember are the things that should get Paul Heyman a fucking Emmy. I'm all on board now. Get Paul Heyman a fucking Emmy. Just give it to him.
Just an Emmy, a Grammy, a Tony, Oscar.
No, I don't want him to have a Tony. I think that may ruin the creativity. I want him to have everything else. But if people in wrestling stay away from Tony, usually they get more creative.
What about a Slammy?
Well, that's like an insult at this point.
Hey, I'm a Slammy Award winner, you son of a bitch.
Do you have the Slammy Award?
Well, yes, they gave it to me.
I didn't know if they really let you have it or if they just take it back and put it in the warehouse.
They let me have it all right, but no, they handed it to me and I never offered to give it back and nobody came and grabbed it, so it's sitting over here in the office.
Well, those are rather rare.
How many of they can't be rare? They did several Slammies that they gave out.
It's not like the Emmys where they give out like 10,000 Emmys every year.
Well, I guess I am in a more rarefied air, a more exclusive group, but I'm not sure that I want to join a club that would have me as a member.
You see, and that's the other thing too that works when people say, oh, Jim should get involved and he should manage the Outlaw Bloodline. You wouldn't have to go to the ring and do anything. You could just do backstage little acting segments.
I tell you, me and Heyman could just sit in the room and fucking snipe at each other.
People would pay for that. People would pay.
I tell you what, I'm gonna take the first step. I'm gonna get my phone disconnected like Heyman did, and then see where that leads.
Well, you're playing spoiler, but let's. But again, that's my point. To my point, I remember the things that happened. I don't remember the matches. And the things that didn't contain the people in the things that happened.
In the things. Give me that, give me that, give me that, give me that thing, give me that, give me. So, should we talk about the program? Because they're not only doing things, they're making points. Like the point you just made about the thing. The first segment, and I'll admit there's some loopholes. Why is Nick Aldis telling Kevin Owens don't come to the building, but they'll play his videos from him sitting in his fucking rental car? And he always, seems to show up when he's needed anyway. But at the same point, again, this is wrestling. They are making a hold or a move dangerous. They've decided, okay, this is a revolutionary thought. Let's make the pile driver illegal. Let's make the pile driver dangerous so every time somebody either gets a pile driver or goes to give somebody a pile driver, the people are going to go ape shit. Oh, no, don't do that to him. Oh, shit. I wish somebody had thought of this before.
Really, it's impressive when you think about the fact it comes on the heels of them getting Bronson Reed's splash. Oh,
yes.
Something that he was just doing and no one cared about. He's still doing it. And now it's something that gets people up on their feet.
Yes, it's like he tries to go to the top. Oh, shit, don't let him do that. God damn it. That's the idea. A big splash and a pile driver. They've been doing them since Wild Bill Longson and Martin the Blimp Levy, right?
Levy,
you say potato, I say you're distracting from my point. But it's simple shit that people can do and do safely. And they're getting carried out from it. And it's causing the fans to go, oh, shit, whenever somebody tries to do it. And that is what, remember we did that deal in Johnson City, Tennessee, in Smoky Mountain Wrestling, where Al Snow ended up pile driving Ricky Morton, I think, It was in a cage match. Nobody could stop him, whatever the fuck. But he pile drives him once, regular boom, and Ricky's selling, and then he pile drives him on the fucking chair. And oh my God, and we called the ambulance and had him pull right into the building, and the fans watched the EMTs strapping Ricky to the board and loading him in the back of the ambulance. And guys were waiting in the parking lot for Al Snow afterwards. Like it's, and a couple of women cried. Imagine that.
Coincidentally enough, they were all pregnant with Ricky's babies.
No, now only 3. But that's the point. That's what you do, because it's wrestling. You make the shit that you establish a hold or a move as dangerous, and then you find the guy that can do it well, and then he does it, and people go ape shit over it. Although in this case, be honest, as we mentioned, is a shitty pile driver, but they freaked out over it, so it kind of slipped by. But if it had been Paul Orndorff out there with that pile driver, my God, people would have gone ape shit.
Well, the other thing, too, that really stands out, and it's something that, I hate to always do compare and contrast, but it's something you don't see as much with the other company. The pile driver looked like shit. The way they put the angle over was great, but also Randy Orton's selling.
Yes.
Put it over the top, and that's a big part of what's missing. Seth Rollins is selling when Bronson Reed was giving him the splash, or later on here with Roman. You have to sell things. If you're doing nonstop Canadian destroyers, which are pile drivers in a sense, or tombstone
in some sense,
or tombstone pile drivers nonstop, or whatever it is, and no one sells anything and everyone's just bouncing around still. It's a cool match for people into cool visuals, but it's defeating the actual core purpose of what wrestling's supposed to do.
Well, now we've found what AEW and Tony Khan are good at. Defeating the true purpose of what wrestling is supposed to do. So anyway, Cody comes out to the ring for the in-ring promo, and they chant it, etc. And all he has to do is say, well, Kevin Owens, he mentions the name, he crossed the line, I want to see him right now. That's all he did. Here comes Owens. Here comes Aldis instead. And is it new, his haircut that's new, that he's bald on both sides of his head?
Who are you talking about here, Aldis?
Nick Aldis.
I did not even notice, so I can't tell you.
I just noted, I thought it was a new haircut, but I wish men who have hair wouldn't cut it off.
Well, that's very wrestling thing, especially wrestling in the 90s, like having hair on top and just shaving the sides.
Well, yeah, but he's a goddamn executive now. He needs to look like a normal person. But anyway, that's Aldis tells the story that the pile driver is banned, and it's been banned because we don't want guys in wheelchairs in 20 years. Imagine that. And then he said, and Owens is not going to be here, not going to be allowed in this arena or the arenas until we figure out what to do about this. I think, why was it taking you so long? I know they're trying, but there's a little loophole. Why is it taking them so long to figure out what to do about this? But anyway, Cody tells Aldis that he's given Owens what he wants. And, he wants to be the center of attention like this. And Aldis said he's not letting the inmates run the asylum. And Owens is not going to be here until this is resolved internally. And Cody makes the pitch to Aldis. You were a wrestler. You know what this means.
Let me stop you, because I thought it was interesting. He says, you were a wrestler. You still are a wrestler.
Well, he said it in the deep down type of thing. You still are a man, a wrestler, a competitor. I still don't think that they're teasing trying to get Aldis involved wrestling at this point. But he appealed to his sense of competitive spirit, let's say. And Randy Orton's a friend of mine. He means so much to me. And it was because of him that Owens did what he did. And, he's like, do I have to beat Owens' ass in his front yard? And again, I said, as preposterous as that sounds, AEW would do it. And so anyway, Cody made the big appeal to Aldis, but he said, hey, the ball's in your court. But I'm not going to wait too long before he takes matters into his own hands. So, are you interested in Cody and Owens?
You know, I am interested in where they're going, and I thought Cody did a good job here coming off a few really pretentious promos. I mean, the first thing that was a good start was him coming out there with a shirt on with cut-off sleeves as opposed to dressed like some fancy turn-of-the-century barber or whatever the fuck he's doing. Standing outside his place, come on in, get a shave. I thought Cody did a good job because the angry Cody, the mad Cody, the motivated Cody is the best one. It really is the only one that works. Otherwise, he's just giving speeches to like the middle school auditorium.
Yeah.
So I thought this was good. In terms of the booking of Owens, even before this, remember, they didn't want Randy Orton to get in a ring with him. He's so dangerous. Now he's in his car every week. They had to bring up the Lamborghini. Do you know about that?
No, honestly, I don't. Does he really have a Lamborghini?
Well, this week on social media, I don't know where they originated from, but photos emerged from outside of a taping of Kevin Owens showing Randy Orton his brand new Lamborghini, which, you know, again, I don't know where they originate from. I don't know if they're new photos, which breaks a lot of kayfabe, a whole lot of kayfabe.
Well, but wait a minute. But besides the fact Owens showing Orton his fucking car, where does Owens live now? Is he still in Canada? Orton's in St. Louis. How did they drive to each other in some fashion?
I don't know exactly, but the photos were out there all of a sudden this week. So when he brought up that he has a Lamborghini, I was like, that's interesting. Why? You know, what the fuck? But this was good. And all this
if he does have a Lamborghini, you know why that I'm sitting here right now doing a podcast in the comfort of my own home and Owens is out there still getting fucking thrown through furniture? Because he's got a Lamborghini and I got a 2007 Ford Expedition with 302,000 miles on it.
It's better. In terms of the upkeep and everything, fancy cars are just not worth it, I'm telling you. Oh.
Well, how much does a Lamborghini cost to begin with? And why would anybody want to spend that much money on a fucking car?
What if you had a small dick?
Then I wouldn't need a fucking car at all. I would never go anywhere.
Because that would be your solution to having a small dick. I will never go anywhere.
I don't go anywhere anyway, but I used to go places. My dick hasn't shrunk and the same size it always was. Give or take, it's still hanging in there. I'm not saying it was impressive to begin with, but what was the point? Oh, well, the Lamborghini.
The point was you asked me the question, which makes me want to ask you the question. Are you interested in Owens and Cody?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's not chopped liver, but the way that they're trying to make Owens this dangerous, I guess maybe because I know him. You know, he's not a dangerous prize-fighting lunatic. If Powerhouse Hobbs was getting this push, I would be worried for Cody's safety or Orton or anybody else. But it's fucking Steen. But anyway, it's better than what they got going on the other side.
Well, that was a fine opening to SmackDown.
Yes, it was. And we'll get to this, but the Bloodline's still looking for a fifth guy. And they also had a United States women's title tournament. Now they've got another women's title. United States title tournament three-way match where whoever wins this goes to fight whoever else does something else. Bayley versus Candy versus B-Fab. And I said, good God, I have to watch a little bit of this for B-Fab, right? And within seconds, Bayley just bailed out and left Candy and B-Fab, and it looked like two drunk babysitters fighting over the key to the liquor cabinet.
See, Bayley had the same reaction you did. I just got to sit back and watch some of this match.
Yes. And I got to, AEW has girls that can't work doing everything, and the WWE has girls that can't work, but they don't do anything. They just kind of jerk each other around. Anyway, it was a strip club Jello wrestling match is what it was.
Oh, come on.
And we were half an hour in by the time the thing was over with.
Who won?
I don't know. I got tired of watching them
What made you
fuck
give
you
up? At what point did you give up?
Just my lack of caring. They weren't doing anything funny, goofy, bad. It was just bad. So LA Knight does an in-ring promo and they're chanting for him and they love him. And he said Sami Zayn asked him to be the fifth guy at War Games, but it's not his fight and he hopes they kill each other. And he's got another open channel. He's got another open challenge going on. And they play music, and here comes Escobar and the Lucha Heels. And I'm like, Jesus Christ. Why are they continually giving him people to work with that nobody gives a shit about?
At this point, it's been a long time of that, hasn't it? We thought him getting the U.S. title was going to elevate him to another thing, and he's still just doing what he was doing.
What? And they're trying to stick him in with some of these people, I guess, thinking that they'll care about some of these people. But there are main event stars around here. Can he work with any of them?
Even if you don't want to put the belt on him, move him over to Raw and let him do some kind of feud with Gunther. Because people treat him like they want to be more into him, and then they're given no reason to continue to feel that way, but somehow it has not trickled down. It hasn't hurt his popularity. But eventually it's going to run out if they don't do something.
Well, and that's,
It can't just be the Bloodline segment's over, so now here's me wrestling whatever guy has nothing to do on the roster.
And I mean, the interview, Escobar's talking, and LA Knight jumps in, and he keeps the promo going where people are halfway into it. But then one of the Stooges jumps him. They go to the break. They come back, U.S. title, LA Knight versus Lucha Stooge. And this is what I'm talking about. LA Knight finally, he wins with the BFT and he's celebrating in the ring, and suddenly he gets leveled by a guy in a black leather raincoat, and it's Shaky Nakamura. I had forgotten that he existed, charitably enough.
You know what? I fast forwarded through the segment after a while, which I regret because I like LA Knight, but I missed this. This is news to me. I didn't know.
Okay, no. That's why I thought, we were going, because we were just talking about they keep giving him people who gives a shit, and here comes who gives a shit.
You know what? I think people give more of a shit about Nakamura. This is very low praise, but I think the WWE fans give more of a shit about Nakamura than the Lucha Suits, Carmelo Hayes, Andrade, and everyone else he's been tied up with for a long time. I'll take it.
But God, and again, how old is Shaky? He's got to be almost 60 now.
You do this every time, and it turns out he's a lot younger than you think. Shinsuke Nakamura. He is 44 years old. He's my age. He's my age.
As Mama Cornette would say, he's had a hard life.
Maybe I should do that with my hair. Interesting. He's 44. Hold on. How old is LA Knight? 42.
Okay, look at both of them physically and tell me there's only 2 years difference. What happened to Nakamura's chassis?
Now, LA Knight definitely could pull off like several years younger. Well, I'm surprised he's 42. That's crazy.
And Nakamura could pull off his fucking support hose with a little help from his private therapy nurse.
Now stop it. Now look, you say these things about some guys who really, like Ishii looks like a little old man. If someone told you that man is 68, you'd be like, well, he's in good shape for a 68-year-old little man. Nakamura looks a lot younger than that, so you're being unfair.
Oh, all right, then I'll go back to my previous description. He looks like the heel in a Raymond Chow kung fu flick.
Well, let's see where they go with this. It beats the tease of a feud with the Lucha Suits. Give it that.
Yeah, at least he got to beat somebody, before they lowered the boom on him. Anyway, we were at 9 o'clock. We were at 9 o'clock here in this program suddenly, and they're in Roman Reigns' locker room. Jay and Jimmy and Sammy, and Roman walks in. And Sammy, he's the one to, hey, we got nothing. We got no fifth guy. There's nobody. Nobody will do this. And Jay says, make the call. And then suddenly the new Bloodline's music is playing, and they're seeing on the monitor that the new Bloodline are walking to the ring. So there's a lot of interaction here now with this.
Well, that reaction, the reaction when the Bloodline music hit and Roman's just like, what? Like, he looks a little worried. There's a monitor right next to him. So eventually he realizes it's there, and he turns and he looks, and then they go to that. It was, again, give Paul Heyman his Emmy. And the whole tease of, did you make that call? Have you had that call? You don't know exactly who it's with yet, but there's something going on and it'll pay off. But they're starting to put that in everyone's mind right now.
But they didn't have time to make the call because the music played.
That's right.
Let the music play. So then Solo and his group are in the ring, and he tells Milwaukee to acknowledge him. Boo. And then suddenly Roman's music plays. They don't even need to fucking go out and say anything now. And the original tribal chief, the OTC, and his guys go to the ring, and they have the brief face-off, and they just break into an 8-way. And it's back and forth. Jacob lays the Usos out. And Solo goes to spike Sammy, but Roman spears Solo and gets a big pop, and Sammy dives on the heels. And then Roman and Fatu are in the ring. And they're circling each other. And we've got the OTC chants. And then suddenly, Bronson Reed levels Roman from behind and squishes him. And then Fatu gives him.
You're really reducing it. You're really they built it up so well, so they had that moment where Roman and Jacob Fatu were squaring off, and the fans were ready for it.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. And then Bronson Reed levels him and squishes him. And I told you, what did we do on the show we did last week, or whatever, or whenever we did one of the shows that we do every 2 days? I said I think they should have just gone 4-on-4. Because they've inserted Bronson Reed and Seth Rollins in where they're mad at each other, but they didn't really fit either group. And that's why when Bronson Reed comes in, they're like, fuck. Because now, but then Fatu gets back and gives him the ass in the face. And everybody else comes back in and gets in a big fight. And the heels kick the shit out of the baby faces because they're outnumbered. And Fatu gets his moonsault, and Bronson Reed gets his splash. But then Roman fights back against everybody, but Solo spikes him. And Fatu moonsaults him again. Reed splashes him. And security runs in, and the heels celebrate. But I don't know. What do you think? They've diluted the blood. The blood is no longer pure.
Well, I don't know if I would put it that way. But
many people are these days.
Are they putting Bronson Reed in the Bloodline, or is it just for the Survivor Series match?
Well, I'm sure it's just for the War Games, but
I'm okay with it because you know what? There's a bigger story too that eventually has to play out with Rollins and Roman. Rollins still doesn't like Roman from the Shield and everything. So there's still something there that's the best stuff with Rollins. It isn't his goofy promos. It's teasing the fucking issues he has with everyone else. So I'm okay with it. I'd like to see where that goes.
So you're saying it's him. He's got issues with everybody.
I'm not saying it's him. I'm saying that's the most interesting thing about him.
Well, you don't know him personally. He's an expert in butterflies.
I don't know. I guess I just don't know. But
very interesting. But anyway, so yes, but here goes what's going on. The Bloodline is, now they got to have the fifth guy. And so anyway,
the only way it's not Rollins is if it won't happen. But if it was Brock Lesnar.
But now because there's a connection through Heyman. So that would not technically, to me, be diluting the purity of the blood.
Because what's make the call? What's make the call to Heyman? Is it just, hey, we need you here in
Well,
our
he didn't
corner?
say Heyman earlier. He said make the call, and the music cut it off.
Based on
come back later on.
Based on the end of the show.
Well, should we go ahead and reveal the end of the show, because it was a very short shot anyway? Is that at the very end of the show, there's Roman sitting in his room again, and he's sore, and he's all beat up, and he realizes he's got to do what he's got to do. And he gets out his fancy Dan phone and he speaks into it. He says, call the wise man. And the place blows because they're watching it on the screen, right? And it's a big pop. And then he gets the number you have reached is not in service.
Which is better than when Paul used to pretend to be his own roommate.
Well, yeah. He's not here. I'll tell him when he gets back in. But so, and then everybody's, oh. So now, sorry, wrong number.
So why is he trying to call the wise man? Is it just to be there in their corner? Is it because they need help getting a fifth partner?
They need advice. They need wiseness. They need wiseosity. And where do you get wiseosity from but the wise man?
Should Heyman return looking exactly the same, or would it be a disappointment if he didn't grow out his beard and let his hair turn white and he comes back looking more wizardly?
He comes back looking like fucking Sika, is what you're saying?
I guess not. I guess not.
What about if he came back weighing 178 pounds?
I don't think that will be happening. I don't think that's ever happened maybe in his career. But
hey, when I weighed 220, I had about 25 pounds on him.
The pop he got when they mentioned him, and when we talked about the top of the review, the things you remember from this show, that's really the thing you remember.
Yeah.
Is him trying to get the wise man on the phone, and he wasn't there. I'm lucky I saw it live because I went back to watch it a second time on the DVR, that one part, because I took it off mute because I was watching the Jake Paul Tyson thing. It cut off on my DVR. All we get is Roman coming into the dressing room, holding his ribs, and then it cuts off. Thank God I didn't have to rely on that. And it's a WWE thing. It's everywhere as soon as it happens, but...
Well, but you know what? That they milked it all the way till the end of the show. And it was just, a 30-second thing, so mine caught it, and boom, right at the end of it, froze up also. But it was very important. That's what it was.
So who do you think the fifth member will be of their team? Without knowing anything, because we're, a couple of weeks away, we'll do the preview next week.
If it wasn't going to be Seth, they wouldn't have done this business, I don't think. And I think it'll be Seth because of the necessity of him wanting to get his hands on Bronson Reed, but Brock would be fucking fabulous. Holy shit.
How about if they go to the ring with Seth and then Heyman shows up with Brock expecting to be the partner and then you have problems. See, that's the best thing about the Bloodline stuff. You never really know where it's going exactly. You think you do, and they kind of go in a certain way, and then because it's classic Heyman. Heyman can't do endings. This doesn't need an ending.
Yeah.
Just keep it going, like the days of our lives.
He can never wrap anything up, but he can keep it going for fucking ever.
That's right.
And does Heyman need to show up in person if it was Brock?
Yes.
We were thinking that Heyman would preface Brock returning, but maybe would Brock show up, in the clinch, having been sent by Heyman?
Heyman has to show up with Brock if it's a part of this. Or Heyman has to walk out and wave Brock out because everyone knows, even when Roman was feuding with Brock, remember? Brock was like, you didn't know I was here. I told him. They still had the relationship in the middle of that feud, Heyman and Lesnar on camera.
Well, and remember also, and by the way, we've still got CM Punk and Drew McIntyre that's floating around out there taking time off selling the last match.
Logan Paul, not around in a long time either.
Well, yeah, the way he fucking sucked up to Agent Orange, he could stay gone. But no, the point is, what they mentioned that Punk was off limits because of respect to Heyman, right? Remember? They mentioned that when Punk first came back. So there's ways and things and ways and means that they could do. But anyway, going back to the show, because we didn't end the show yet. There's more in the show. Because Owens was in his car. And he's disappointed. They won't let him in the arena. But he got a call from Nick Aldis to be at SmackDown next week. So they don't disappoint Cody, the Golden Boy. But when Owens shows up, he says he's just doing what everybody wants him to do, just doing his job. I'd like him to show up and do the job. But nevertheless, Brian, were the Street Profits baby faces again? I thought they were.
Not this week. I was pretty sure when I saw them come out that they were heels here.
Well, that's what I thought. They were heels a while back, but then I thought they were baby faces again. But now they were against Shelley and Sabin for the tag team title, and yeah. But then it didn't go long because Ciampa is mad that his little buddy Johnny Sameface is still friends with Shelley and Sabin, so Ciampa came in and shoved one of the Street Profits off the top rope and got a disqualification and posted the other one and then kicked the shit out of both of them. And here came little Johnny in, and Ciampa shoved the garden gnome on his ass and walked out of the ring. So now Shelley and Sabin tried to pick the Street Profits up and apologize to them. But Dawkins punched Shelley in the face and the Profits left. And if this breaks Ciampa and Gargano up, I'll kiss somebody. Just so I can bear to watch Ciampa again without having to see that
and his feud
fucking little fucking cookie bacon fucking tree dwelling motherfucker standing next to him.
Well, that's who you're going to see him with in his feud with Gargano.
Oh, goddamn, I forgot about that.
Then I'm just going to break him up and then fire Gargano.
Well, that would be the optimum. Can they send candy packing too along with that? And then anyway, the women's title was on the line with Naomi against the Refrigerator in the main event. And for some reason or another, Naomi and the Refrig were both down on the floor, so on the screen, in the back, Bianca and Jade could get beaten up by Liv and Rochelle. And then they went back to the match, and both of them were still selling on the floor, and the referee leaned over and gave Naomi the cue, and she got up. But then Tiffy attacked Naomi, and the Fridge went for a splash, and Naomi was up, and Fridge went to slam her off the ropes, and Naomi rolled through it for a 2 count. I thought they were going to kill both of them. And then Bayley jumped Tiffy, and Naomi kept getting 2 counts until finally the Refrigerator Samoan dropped her off the turnbuckle and gave her the bonsai 1, 2, 3. So that was exciting and thrilling.
And that was SmackDown.
The number you have reached is not in service. More on this later.
All right. Well, this is your show.
Well, you know what? It's 10 o'clock at night at that point, Eastern time, right, Brian?
Right.
It's time to get a good night's sleep.
For some, yes.
Well, you mean you didn't go right to bed right after SmackDown was over with?
Well, no, I had the boxing match or the boxing sham, whatever it was that I was going to watch.
Oh, what, the Helix Sleep mattress is coming to box also. So you could have watched them boxing and then unboxing. It's more exciting to watch the Helix mattress be unboxed than it is to watch Jake Paul boxing. I think that's safe to say. Is it not?
I mean, it was a fine little exhibition. I don't, it was not really a good boxing bout or anything.
Well, I tell you what, if one of them son of a guns got knocked out, you didn't need to be worried about them if they were falling on a Helix Sleep mattress. And that's why I think that Helix Sleep should, from now on, make all of the boxing and wrestling rings. Because every time somebody gets slammed, they'll just spread out in a cloud and go to sleep. And that's what you can do too, folks, because we've been ranting and raving about the greatness of the Helix mattresses for years now here on the program. We have brought you into our figurative bedrooms and told you how wonderful it is to sleep on a variety of these mattresses, no matter if you're odd-shaped or unnaturally large or morbidly obese. They've got stuff for you, too. You don't need to be ashamed. You know, most mattress companies in mattress stores, if they, the brick and mortar kind, you know those, Brian, if they see a person that weighs, say upwards of 395 pounds walk in the door, they call the police on them and make them leave.
Well, no, I don't think that's exactly true.
They say, no, you can't lay down on our mattresses, you big fat fuck, you're going to break something.
They wouldn't talk like that. No responsible salesperson
because they have hundreds of people laying on these mattresses in these mattress stores every day.
Hundreds.
And then they'll just sell it to you and you'll take it home, and who knows where it's been. Actually, we know where it's been. It's been in the store, but who knows where the people that have been on it have been. And if you're too fat, they're going to kick you right out. They're not even going to sell you one because they're anti-fattites. And let's say you're 9 feet tall. This is a common problem. You can't find a mattress. The Helix Sleep people have the big and tall mattresses. So if you're Happy Humphrey level on a scale, or if you're Robert Wadlow level in height, it doesn't matter because they got one for you too. And the little kiddies, you can throw some of your kids on one of these mattresses and, well, they'll just be happy as clams. And
your children can sleep on these mattresses every night safely and securely and comfortably with Helix Sleep.
Well, yeah, but instead of giving them the little crumb snatchers their own phone or their own computer, who knows what kind of problem they can cause, just put them on these mattresses and they'll go right to sleep. And if they don't sleep, they've got a Velcro model where you can just put the little...
No, they don't have that.
It's in a Velcro diaper and then just stick them on the mattress.
They don't have that. That is completely ridiculous. Of course, Helix Sleep has the finest mattresses, no matter what kind of mattress you want, whether it's for you, whether it's for your family. Perhaps you got a mistress in an apartment over the gas station. Whatever it may be, Helix Sleep is there for you.
Well, now, funny that you might have mentioned that, because they also have mattresses that are self-cleaning. They run
what?
They run a mixture of peroxide.
I didn't say anything about that. I didn't say anything about that.
You're talking about the mistress. You know, there's going to be some spillage, so you just press a button and it peroxides the whole thing.
I didn't say the mistress was in your home. I said she was in the apartment you put her in above the gas station.
You want to be able to clean the mattress in the apartment over the gas station.
Well, she's living there. Hopefully, she's only your. Well,
you're going to be on the mattress sooner or later, pal. You could get any number of things that would grow on your hindquarters. But anyway, folks, right now.
Now,
if you want to go to helixsleep.com, and who wouldn't, /JCE, use that code. And we've got an incredible, for Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, whatever holiday occasion, that if it's your 47th wedding anniversary, the 47th anniversary is mattress. So whatever, you're going to save 25% off right now, site-wide, on any of the fine Helix Sleep mattresses tailored for the whole family. And you're going to get 2 free dream pillows with any mattress purchase that you've already taken 25% off of. And if you get a Luxe mattress or the Elite mattress, one of those from those collections, you're going to get a free bedding bundle, 2 dream pillows, a sheet set, a mattress protector in case you are giving this to your mistress, and that's all in the free bedding bundle. So 25% off and all this free stuff, you're pretty much set. All you're going to need is the baby oil and the whipped cream. helixsleep.com /JCE. Also some turkey gravy for Thanksgiving. You're going to need that.
That's right, with Helix Sleep.
They don't have the turkey gravy, though.
One more time, what's
at the store?
One more time, what's that promo code?
helixsleep.com /JCE for the bestest, most comfortable mattresses that you've ever slept yourself on. And they got nobody laying on them in the mattress stores either, especially fat people.
All right, once again, helixsleep.com/JCE. And this is your show.